All right, so I'll be going through a new paper today. This is also an Addmaths paper, Matematik Tambahan, and this is the Sekolah Agama paper, and it's set 1, Kertas 1, right? And it's the trial for 2023. So this is paper 1. Let's go. Okay, the formulas here, I will skip it and then start with question 1. Let's go. Let's read the question. Diagram 1 shows a curve. Y equals to x squared plus 3x. This is a curve. And this is y equals px minus 1 is a straight line. All right. Find the range of values of p so that both the line and the curve meet. All right. 4 marks. All right. First thing we have to notice here is range. Whenever you see the word find range, it means your answer later mesti ada simbol bigger ataupun smaller ataupun bigger sama dengan smaller sama dengan, right? Because range means your answer will have this symbol, okay? And what they want to find is range of p, which is referring to this p, but they say the condition here is the curve and the line they will meet, but they never say meet at 2 points or meet at 1 point. So what you have to do here is you have to do b square minus 4ac bigger or sama dengan 0, right? If the soalan says meet at 2 different points, you will do b square minus 4ac bigger 0, right? If they say meet at 2 different points. But if they say meet at 1 point ataupun tangent means touches 1 point, you will do b square minus 4ac equals 0, right? But since this question they never say meet at 2 different point or 1 point, you will combine bigger and equal. That's why you will do bigger sama dengan, right? But before you do this, before you take the b square minus 4ac bigger sama dengan 0, you have to take this equation and this equation combine into one. But how do we combine it? You will do simultaneous. So since this one is already y equals, this one also y equals, you will take y equals to y, right? So what you do is you write x squared plus 3x equals to the other y px minus 1. And now you can make it general form. So you will be x squared plus bracket, the px move here become 3 minus px minus 1 become plus 1 equals 0. And now you can do b squared minus 4ac bigger or sama dengan 0. So the b will be 3 minus p, the A will be 1, the C will be 1 also, and then bigger something than 0. This one, when you expand, you're just going to get 9 minus 6p plus p squared minus 4 bigger something than 0. You end up with p squared minus 6p, 9 minus 4 plus 5 bigger something than 0. Factorize using calculator, you're going to get two answer, but don't, but here you have to write equals. So now you have to press calculator. So you will get PP. I think this one is 5, 1 minus minus. So P is equals to 1 and the other p is equals to positive 5, right? But this is a quadratic inequality, so you have to draw. And after you draw, you have to write a small number here, the big number here. So this will be 1, this will be 5. And since it's bracket, bracket bigger, you have to shade here and here. So the answer will be p smaller than 1 or p bigger than 5. So this will be the final answer, right? And if the soalan got, the inequality got line here, you should put the line here also, right? So this will be the range of p, and that's the final answer. Okay, so let me repeat one more time. When the question asks you, when the question gives you equation of curve and equation of straight line, you will actually do simultaneous first, right? We don't care whether this curve and this line touch or no touch. We will always do simultaneous. After we do simultaneous, then only we decide whether to do b square minus 4ac bigger 0 equals 0 ataupun smaller 0. If they say the curve and line touch 2 point, then bigger 0 lah. If they say touch 1 point, equals 0, b square minus 4ac equals 0 lah. If they say no touch, b square minus 4ac smaller 0. But the first step is always taking the equation of line and equation of curve gabung into one, means we do simultaneous first. All right, so even if I change this question and I says the line and the curve does not meet, you will still do the same thing. You will still do simultaneous first. Okay, but but if they say does not meet, then here you do b square minus 4ac smaller 0 lah. All right, so this is how you do question A. All right, hope you understand. Okay, I'm going to continue with the next question, question B, right? So question B, they says given hx equals to this, find the d dx of hx. Okay, I will write down this thing, d over dx, big bracket hx, which is 2 plus 3x power 3 over 1 plus x, right? Okay, what does it mean by d dx? It means they want you to differentiate, okay? So if I give you y equals to something here, right? And I want you to differentiate, we will usually write dy dx, right? dy dx like that, okay? But sometimes we will not write the y because uh we okay, this is one way of writing it when you differentiate, but we can also write like this, d over dx, and instead of writing the y here, I will just straight away put the y equation here, right? Put it inside here. So sometimes we write like this, sometimes we write like this, but they are the same meaning, okay? So if I say d dx of this, it means this is my y lah. This is my y, and I'm trying to differentiate this, right? But how do we differentiate this equation? Okay, when we differentiate, we have to make sure x double ada dekat bawah. If x is on the bottom, at the bottom means you cannot differentiate. So what you try to do is you will try to bring it up. Okay, you have to take the x and try to bring it up, right? But I teach you before in class, right? For my own student, I will say if your x ada bawah, you have to naik atas, right? But if atas sudah ada x, then you cannot naik already. So if x cannot naik atas, what other option you have? You can try to pecahkan. Pecahkan means you separate them. How you separate? You have to separate, like for example, if you have a plus b over c, you can separate it like this, right? And then it becomes a over c plus b over c. But when you separate, also got condition. You have to make sure at the bottom only have one term. Bawah ada satu term baru boleh separate like this. So if you look at this, bawah sudah ada dua term, right? So it means that you cannot separate also. So when you have x dekat bawah, you cannot bring it up, you cannot separate. You have to use the UV method, right? The UV method. And since this one is divide, we will use the second UV method, which is salin V differentiate U minus salin U differentiate V, and then divide V square. Okay, there's actually two UV formula. The first one is salin U differentiate V, tambah salin V differentiate U. That one is when you have something darab something. Okay, but this one is something bahagi something. So we will use the second UV method. This one is the UV method, right? So what I will do now is use this formula to differentiate. Okay, I will draw a panjang punya garisan here, and then I'll start to differentiate. So what I have to do is silent V first, right? Okay, we will let the atas one becomes U, the bawah one becomes V. So the V will be 1 plus X, so I'll just write it down. Make sure you put bracket, okay? And then du dx means to differentiate U. Okay, how do we differentiate U? Well, when you differentiate this kind of, this one, bracket power 3, the 3 you will bring it in front, right? And what you do with the power is -1, so it will be 2 plus 3x, the 3 have to -1. But don't forget to differentiate inside bracket sekali lagi, right? Because when you do like that means you always have to differentiate the inside bracket one more time and write it here. So differentiate 2 is 0, no need to write. Differentiate 3x is 3, so it is 3, right? So now I already write V, I already write the differentiate U. Now I have to write minus. Minus what? Salin U differentiate V. Salin U means salin atas. So salin atas is 2 plus 3x power 3. So salin saja. And then dv dx is actually just differentiate V, means differentiate this bawah one. So differentiate 1 is 0, no need to write. Differentiate x is 1. So that's done already. Okay. And then everything divided by V square, which is 1 plus x square. Now you end up with 1 plus x square dekat bawah. And then atas number and number can times together. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then 1 plus x you can write beside. But please don't ever expand this, right? Remember, when you differentiate, you want your equation to be factorized completely. If you expand, you are actually doing it, you are actually getting further from the answer, right? Because in differentiation, you want your answer to be factorized, everything, right? That's why the 9, you shouldn't expand here. And then this is 2 plus 3x power 2 minus 2 plus 3x power 3 like that, right? The times 1 no need to write lah. Okay, now you can continue by factorizing. Okay, how do we factorize? Okay, let me ask you, the 1 plus x power 2 and the 1 plus x, can I cut? Cannot, right? I cannot cut. You know why? Because there's a minus here. Okay, you can only cut the 1 plus x when belakang also have 1 plus x. Then you can factorize out and then you can cut, right? But belakang ada ke 1 plus x? Tak ada, right? The first term have 1 plus x, but the second term don't have 1 plus x. So you can't factorize 1 plus x keluar. And if you can't factorize the 1 plus x, means there's no chance of tong like that, right? But even though we can't factorize 1 plus x, we can factorize some other things, right? We can factorize something else, which is the 2 plus 3x power 2. Because if I look at this, I look at this guy, and I look at this guy, they both have 2 plus 3x, right? And we can take out 2 plus 3x power 2 actually. And what happens here is, I will put a big bracket, and whatever balance left, I'll just write inside here. So 9, I'll write here, and then 1 plus x also I'll write here. The 2 plus 3x power 2, I already take it out. It means I already factorkan. We have already factorized, so we don't have to write that. And then minus, I'll write minus. 2 plus 3x power 3, take out 2 plus 3x power 2, which means 2 plus 3x power 1 left inside, right? It means I'm taking 2 plus 3x power 3 divide 2 plus 3x power 2. That's why I get 2 plus 3x. And everything over 1 plus x power 2. Right? And we cannot cut, cannot cut. So it will be 2 plus 3x power 2. And now it's time to solve the big bracket. And then the 1 plus x power 2 also, I write down here. Okay, 9 times 1 is 9. And then 9 times x is 9x minus 2. And when you open the bracket, this plus 3x become minus 3x, right? Because minus plus become minus. And now almost finished already. It will be 1 plus x squared dekat bawah. And we have to do this big bracket one. So 9x minus 3x is 6x. 9 minus 2 is positive 7, right? 9 minus 2 is 7. And then here will be 2 plus 3x power 2. And after you do everything, you have to ask yourself whether you can factorize this again or not. So can you still factorize this? I don't think so. So if you can't factorize further, means you already get the final answer. It means this is the final answer already. All right. But if you still can factorize, you should factorize. All right. Because when you differentiate, you always have to make sure the answer, if can factorize, means you cannot factorize. Right. The answer have to be factorized completely. Okay. Okay. I think I'm done already. Okay, let's keep going with question number 3. So question number 3 here, it says the marks in a mathematics exam at the school are normally distributed. So definitely it's a normal distribution. So later I have to use the jadwal for this question, right? Do you know the jadwal, the Z table, the Z score table? So before I go to the jadwal, let's read the question first. Distributed with a mean and variance, right? But variance, in normal distribution, we don't use the variance, right? We use standard deviation because in normal distribution, we always have to convert x value to z value, and the formula is taking the x minus mean divide standard deviation, right? We don't use variance in normal distribution actually. Okay. Okay, let's see what else it says. 25%. Okay, when they say percent means probability. Okay, probability. So it means 25% is 0.25. This is the probability. Probability of what? Of student in a school score below 40 marks. So what we can write here is probability of something is equals to 25%, which is 0.25. And what we write inside here, for the school score below 40 marks, right? So we can let x become the score. Below means smaller, and then 40, right? So this is my first equation. The next one, 10%. So it's also probability of something, because percentage, automatic is probability one. So percentage is 10%, means 10 divided 100, 0.1. So probability of something equals 0.1, but probability of what? So students that score above 75 marks. So we can let x become the score, but this time above, so bigger than 75. And x represents score, right? And then now we can find the value of mean and standard deviation. Okay, when we're doing normal distribution, is always the same thing. It's always, the first step is always change the x to z, right? Because later we have to take out the z table. We have to make sure it's z value first, right? The table is only for z value. So what you do, you convert x to z. And how? You will take 40, which is the x value, minus mean. What is the mean? I don't know. So just write mean, and then divide with standard deviation. And the standard deviation also we don't know. So like that. Yeah. Alright. And now, since dalam sini tak boleh buat, I will let C equals to whatever inside here. Alright. 40 minus mean over standard deviation. Right. This is how I always teach my student. When dalam tak boleh buat, you just let C equals. And once after you let C equals, now you have your new equation. Pz smaller than C equals to 0.25. Right. But now, you cannot butcher your jadwal, right? You cannot go to the Z value table yet. Why? Because I mentioned before, when you want to read the Z value table, you have to make sure it's a Z value and it has to be bigger positive, baru you boleh tengok the jadwal. This one is not bigger positive. This is smaller, and you don't even know the C is positive or negative. So my job now is to determine whether my C is negative or positive. So what I will do is I will draw two bell shape. Okay. Why I draw two? Because I don't know my C is negative ataupun positive, right? It can be negative, it can be positive, right? So what I'll do now is I will lower it smaller, okay? Because it's smaller, right? So smaller means I'll lower it from this line onwards to the left, right? Same thing here. If my line is here, if I want the smaller, I will lower it this part, right? But only one of these is correct. Your C is either negative or positive. It cannot be both. It cannot be both at the same time. It's either, it means one of these is correct and one of these is wrong. But which one is the correct one? Okay, we will look at whatever, we will look at the probability. We will look at the probability ataupun the area. Okay, so if the probability here is less than 0.5, you choose the small one. If it's more than 0.5, you choose the big one. So you can look now is 0.25. So definitely it's smaller than 0.5. So the C answer is, it means the correct one is this. right? Your C is actually negative. It's not this one, right? So now you know your C is negative. It means what you can do. It means this is actually a PZ smaller negative, right? You can't see the negative here, right? But it's actually negative. I proved to you already, right? So if your C is negative, what you can do? Smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative can change to bigger positive. Okay, only smaller negative can change like that. And why we can change is because this bell shape is asymmetrical. So if I say smaller than negative, it's actually the same as saying bigger than positive C. That's why you can straight away change smaller negative to bigger positive. And since my Z value is already bigger positive, now I can take out jadwal. But before I take out the jadwal, the table, I have to write down C equals to negative like that first, right? Because I already know my C is negative. So a lot of students they don't write this first and they forget to write the negative at the end later and then they get the wrong answer. So always remember, if you know your C is negative already, try to tulis siap siap the C equals to negative like that. Then only go to the jadwal, right? And then you just write the answer at the back later. Okay, how can I baca the jadwal? If you look at the jadwal, the outside here, this is the Z value, all right? This is the first decimal place for the Z value. This is the second decimal place. And this will be the third decimal place for the Z value, right? But since I don't have the Z value now, okay, my Z value I don't have, all right? This 0.25 is not the Z value. It's actually the answer, the probability answer. Ataupun you can say the area. So what I will do is I cannot baca dari luar. I cannot baca from outside. I have to baca from inside. It means I have to go inside here and find 0.25 or lebih sikit, right? Because I don't have the Z value. Okay, so I have to baca from dalam, from inside. So I'll go to the jadwal, but I don't have the jadwal in this set, right? They never give me in this. They give me, yeah, they never give me in this state paper. So I will go to other state paper. So let me scroll back up. All right, so let's look at the Pahang paper. The Pahang paper, hopefully I think they got give. Oh, they never give also. Ayo, so if like that, then I have to open another set. Okay, let's try with the Kelantan maybe. Maybe the Kelantan one have the maybe Kelantan people have the jadwal. So let's see Kelantan. Okay, let's keep all the working. Okay, yeah, the Kelantan one have. So I already forget which one I want to butcher just now. I have to butcher from inside, right? And I have to find 0.25 or lebih sikit. So let's go to the jadwal. 0.25 or lebih sikit. So did you find it? I already find it. It's somewhere here. Yeah, it's here, 25 or lebih sikit. You cannot take this one because this one is smaller than 0.25. So this is the one I take, but this is 0.2514. It means I have to minus 14. I have to minus 14. So I have to find 14 in this part. So I don't have 14, I only have 13 and 16. But since 13 is much more nearer to 14, I will take this, right? So now the answer will be, we butcher outside. So butcher, butcher, butcher. So the answer will be 0.674. That is the answer, right? So we butcher, butcher, butcher. So what's the answer? 0.674. And when we write it here, we have to write negative, right? Why we have to write negative? Because just now I already tell you, right? Because the C is negative. Okay. Okay. Once we reach here, we can write 40 minus mean divide standard deviation equals to negative 0.674 because you let C equals to 40 minus mean of standard deviation. So now you already get your C, you have to change it back. That, right? Okay. Now we will do what we will do next. We will repeat these steps again, but for another information, which is this one, right? So let's do the same thing here. Same thing here, but we do one more time, and then at the end later, take this and the new one, do simultaneous. All right, first thing first is change the X to Z. How to change? Take the X value 75 minus mean. The mean I don't have. Tak bagi. Standard deviation also don't have. So like that, right? And then what you do now? Let C equals 75 minus mean divide standard deviation, right? Why I let C is because dalam sini tak boleh buat. So now it will be you will get PZ bigger than C equals to 0.1. And now it's time to locate two bell shape. Why you have to locate two? Because you don't know your C is negative or positive. So you want to try both and see which one makes sense, right? So this time is bigger, so we have to lower the right side, okay, like that. So now you have to look at the area. If the area is smaller than 0.5, now your area is 0.1, right? Which is smaller than 0.5. So you have to choose the small punya kawasan. So which one is the small punya kawasan? this one, not this one. So now you know your C is actually positive. It means your C later don't have to tambah negative here, and also it's already bigger. Can you see? It's already PZ bigger positive. So I can straight away go to my jadual and baca already. But I have to baca from dalam. Like macam tadi lah. And I have to find 0.1 or lebih sikit. Right? 0.1 or lebih sikit. Right? Oh, by the way, if it's this case, if it's this case, then you have to take 1 minus. Okay? If it's this case lah. But since it's this case, you don't have to take 1 minus. Because if it's already PZ bigger positive, you can straight away baca. Right? So let's go to the jadual and find 0.1 or lebih sikit. So 0.1 or lebih sikit. Where is 0.1? 0.1093 this one 1003, right? But since I want 0.1, I have to minus 3. Okay, I have to take belakang minus 3. So do I have 3 here and the tolak here? Okay, I only have 2 and 4. So which one is nearer to 3? Actually, 2 and 3, the difference is 1. 4 and 3, the difference is also 1. So you can choose either one, right? I will choose this one, right? But you can choose either one because since like both is like equally near to the 3, right? So that's why I choose either one. You can choose either one, right? So now you have to baca to outside to get the exact value. So you will baca, baca. So the answer is 1.281, okay? 1.281 or 1.282 also can. Okay, so like I will go here and write 1.281. And this time is positive, okay? And don't forget your C is actually what? Your C is actually 75 minus mean over standard deviation equals 1.281. And now you have two equations where you have two unknowns, right? So now you can do simultaneous. Okay, how to do simultaneous? You can find standard deviation both sides, right? So here you will find standard deviation. It will be 40 minus mean over negative 0.674. And here also you will find standard deviation, right? So your standard deviation will be 75 minus mean over 1.281. And then this standard deviation and this standard deviation should be the same value. It means I can say standard deviation equals standard deviation, which means 40 minus mean, okay, let's write here. 40 minus mean over negative 0.674 equals to 75 minus mean over 1.281. And now I will cross multiply, and then it will be 1.281 times 40. You can use calculator to help you. Okay, let me press. My calculator give me 51.24. And of course, you have to times with the mean as well, 1.281 mean. And then 75 times 0.674, which is 50.55, but there's a negative, so just put it there. And then negative times negative becomes positive, and then 0.674 mean, right? As okay, so now we can find mean. This one got mean, this one got mean. We can do it together, so we can move how to say this one mean, I move it there lah. So it becomes 0.674 plus with 1.281. It means I'm trying to collect all the mean together. So you get 1.955 mean on this side. And then of course the number negative 50.55, I have to move it there. And when you move it, it becomes plus. So 51.24 plus with 50.55. Okay, my calculator gives me 101.79. And finally, you can get your mean. Just take the 101.79, divide 1.955. Okay, my calculator gave me 52.066. So I think if we write in four significant figure, it will be 52.07, right? So now how to get your standard deviation? Well, just substitute this back into this equation, right? Or you can use this equation also can, right? Okay, let's use the 75 minus mean over 1.281. Let's use this equation. So the mean is what? 52.07. So you're just going to press calculator now and you can get your standard deviation answer, right? So 75 minus answer and then divide 1.281. Okay, my calculator gives me 17.90. Okay. So now I think I finished already. This is my mean answer. This is my standard deviation answer. And what the question asks you to find? Mean and standard deviation. So 5 marks. Sudah siap, right? But what if I want to find variance? Okay, then you will take the standard deviation square. Okay, because standard deviation, if you want the variance, you would to get variance is just standard deviation square, right? But I don't think you have to do that because they only ask for mean and standard deviation. All right, so that's all. Okay, let's continue with number 4. Diagram 2 shows a straight line graph ln y against ln x. Okay, this question is very similar to one question that I did before. I forget it's which question. Okay, but I think it's Okay, let me find it. Is it the Pahang paper or the Kelantan paper? Because I remember I did this question before, right? But I don't remember which state paper, right? They also ask like that. Okay. I don't think I can find it. I don't think I can find it lah. But uh is it this one? No. Okay, I don't think it's the Pahang paper or the Kelantan paper, right? Maybe it's the SBP paper or the Sabah paper. I don't remember. Okay, but it's very similar to this one, right? Okay, so tak apa lah. I'll just do it here. So soalan A, they want to express y in terms of x. Okay, before you express the small y in terms of small x, let's write down the equation in linear form first. Y equals to mx plus c. Because this question they never give us the equation, so we have to form out the equation myself. But we have to write capital Y, capital X. And when we find equation, we always need the gradient, the m, and the c y-intercept. So the y-intercept I already know is -2, but the gradient I don't have, so time to find gradient. The formula for gradient is y minus y divided x minus x. Okay, don't use this y coordinate and this y coordinate because this point is not complete. You want to make sure the 2 points you choose is complete. Complete means you have the x and the y coordinate, right? If you use this one, the PQ you don't have, so I don't like it. So let's use this point and this point is better. So you will take 1, 0, and then 0, -2. So your gradient will be y minus y, which is -2 minus 0, and 0 minus 1. So when you take -2 divided -1, you will get 2. So now you have your equation. It will be big Y equals to mx, which is m is 2, and then big X plus c, right? And what is your c? Your C is your y-intercept, and you can see they clearly give you already is -2, right? But of course, this is not your answer. They don't want you to express big Y in terms of big X. They want small y in terms of small x. So what is your y-axis actually? It's ln y, right? So it will be ln y equals to 2 ln x minus 2. Okay, what does it mean by ln here? Ln here means log base e, right? Same thing here. Ln means log base e, and e is a number. Okay, e is a number. All right, so what you have to do now is you have to pindah the ln, but ln stands for log base e, right? But you have to pindah this whole thing, okay, which is log. Okay. I'm just gonna write here because ln is log e base e y. This one is also 2 log base e x minus 2, right? And what you want to do is you want to perform anti-log, right? Because you only want y on this side. So what you do, you will you do anti-log. Anti-log means you will kick the log to the other side, but when you pindah the log to the other side, the log base will become number base, right? And it will look like this, right? But you shouldn't do that first. What you should do is you have to make sure this everything you will make the 2 also got log. It means what I will do now is instead of writing 2 log x base e, I'll write 2 log ex power 2, right? And then the 2 here, I will change it to log e power 2. Okay. Okay, let me explain. If you have a log base 3, okay, no, don't want. Let's say I have a 3, and then I have power log 3, 8. Okay, log 3, 8. Okay. What is this equals to? This is will be equals to 8. Because when you have any number power log and the log base and the number base same, you can actually cut. And then that one will be straight away the answer, right? So this works with any numbers. So like for example, if I get say e power log base e7, the answer would just be 7. If the any number got power log and the log base and the number base same, you can always cut. But you have to make sure this and this same lah. Then only you can cut, then left with 7. That is why what I'm trying to do here is before I do the anti-lock here, I want to make this whole thing into a single lock, right? I want to make this whole thing into a single lock, okay? And I want to make sure the single lock is in base E so that I can cut later. That is why I try to make the 2 becomes log EE power 2, all right? Because 2 is actually 2 times 1, which is same as saying 2 log EE, right? Because log EE is 1. But I bring the 2 up here, that's why it becomes log EE power 2. But the other side here is still log EY. Okay, now can I make it into single log? Yes. Separate log minus single log divide. So it will become single log divide. It will be x power 2 divide e power 2. And the other side is still log ey. And finally, I can find my y. I can pindah the log to the other side. I can do anti-log. So when I do anti-log, the log base will get pindah to the other side, becomes the number base. All right. And then the rest here, everything here becomes power. So this whole thing, everything I write now is the power, right? So it becomes e power log base e x squared over e squared. So now you can potong already, because I mentioned already to you just now, when you have any number and when your power has log and the log base number base same, you can cut. So you just left with x squared. Here you just left with x squared over e squared, right? So this is your answer. Okay. So now you understand why I try to why I don't want to do anti-log first. I try to make it single log first, then only I I do anti-log. Okay. Okay, hope you understand my working. Now it's time to do B. B says find the value of P and Q. So P is this one, Q is this one. So how do we find it? Okay, it's very easy. You just substitute inside the equation, right? You just substitute inside the equation. But don't substitute inside this equation. Okay, don't substitute inside this equation, because if you substitute inside this equation, can also, but it will be susah a bit, because if you look at the x coordinate is p, right? Is p4, but p is actually not the x, it's actually the log base ex. So if you substitute inside here, it's very is it will be susah a bit, right? Even though can also but you have to tekan the log base e button. So there's a better equation to substitute, which is this one, right? Because your big y-axis is already log y base e, your x-axis is already log x base e, so all you have to do is just substitute inside this equation, right? It means your big y will be 4, your big X will be P minus 2, and then your P will be 3, because 4 plus 2 is 6, divide 2 is 3, right? And you don't even have to tekan the log base E anymore, because the whole x-axis is already the log x base E, and the whole y-axis is already log y base E. That's why you can straight away ganti like that, right? Let's do one more time. This time the big Y it will be Q, and then 2 big X 10 minus 2. So your Q will just be 20 minus 2, which is 18, right? And that should be your final answer, right? Okay, sudah siap. Let's continue with 5A. Okay, for 5A, I will do it up here, right? So let's read the question. Given a sequence as follows, so we have 3 terms. Is this sequence a progression? Explain your answer. So how do we prove whether it's a progression or not? We will try to take we will try to take the, how to say, the belakang punya term, right? And then we divide ataupun minus, alright? If it's geometric progression, we have to divide lah. If it's arithmetic, we have to minus. But since this question never say it's a arithmetic or geometric, so I think I have to prove it myself, right? So I think this is a geometric progression. Yeah. So what you have to do now is, to prove that it's a geometric progression, I have to take kanan bahagi kiri, and if I get the same answer at the end, then it's a geometric progression. So I will start by taking 9p power 3 over 2q divide with 27 p power 1 over 2q, right? And see what I get. Okay, what is 9 divide 27? 1 over 3. What is p power 3 over 2 divide p power 1 over 2? It will be p power 1 over 2. Okay, actually it will be p power 1. Because when you take p power 3 over 2 divide p power, it's just going to be p power 3 over 2 minus 1 over 2, right? Because when you have same base divide, the power have to minus. So 3 over 2 minus 1 over 2 is 2 over 2, and 2 over 2 is 1, right? So that's the answer. Okay, next part is q bahagi q, but pq bahagi q is 1, right? So so this is the answer, right? Because q and q potong already. Okay, so now I'll try to take another one, which is 3p power 5 over 2q. Because just now I take kanan bahagi kiri, now I'll take kanan bahagi kiri, but this time I'm taking 3p power 5 over 2q. Okay, the q I shouldn't write like this, because the q is not the power, right? So the q is like this. And then don't forget to divide by 9p power 3 over 2q and see whether I get the same answer or not. If I get the same answer, it means it's a geometric progression. So 3 divided 9 is 1 over 3. P power 5 over 2 divide P power 3 over 2, which is same as saying P power 5 over 2 minus 3 over 2, which is 2 over 2. And what is 2 over 2? P power 1. And P power 1, no need to write. And then Q and Q can potong also. So this will be the answer. Okay, you can see this answer and this answer is same. So now we can answer the question. Is this sequence a progression? Express your answer. So we can say yes. Okay. We can say yes. This sequence is a geometric progression. Right? Is a geometric progression. Geometric progression. And we have to write the reason because 9p divide 3 over 2q divide by 27 p power 1 over 2q is the same as 3p power 5 over 2q divided by 9p power 3 over 2q, which gives you 1 over 3p. Right? So this is the reason. Or you can also write, since this one bahagi this one equals to this one bahagi this one equals to 1 3p, therefore they are geometric progression. Okay? So it's the same thing. So yeah, it is good enough. Now we can continue with B. Ahmad's worked with company A for 320 days in a year. So in a year, he only worked for 320 days in company A, and the salary is 2 ringgit on the first day, 4 ringgit on the second day, 6 ringgit on the third day. So we can actually form a progression. Okay, the progression will be 2, 4, 6, right? And these are all day salary. Okay, salary but for 1 day. Okay, salary for 1 day. Okay, daily. Okay, daily. And since it works for 320 days, then of course it will go on until the 320 terms lah. There will be 320 terms. This is T1, T2, T3. It will keep going until T320, right? Okay, number 1 says, what will be the total amount of salary that Ahmad will receive upon completing his service? It means I'm finding S 320 lah. So this is actually an arithmetic progression, right? A equals to 2, D is also 2 because you take 4 minus 2, right? So what I want to find now is the total amount of salary. So when you see the word total means you have to sum it up. It means I have to take S. And since it works for 320 days, I find S 320. Okay, what is the SN formula for arithmetic? N over 2, big bracket, 2A plus N minus 1D. So N will be 320. So 320 divide 2, big bracket 2A, which is 2 times 2, plus N minus 1. N is 320, minus 1 is 319, times with the D, which is 2, right? And now you can press calculator, then you will get the answer. Okay, so 2 times 2 plus 319 times 2 equals, and then times 320 divide 2. Okay, my calculator gives me 102720. But of course, you have to write RM because this is salary, right? Okay, after I finish the first part, now we can do the second part. Second part gives you what? Second part says, company B offers Ahmad salary of 2,000 in the first month and a monthly salary increase of 900. Calculate the total amount of salary that Ahmad will receive if he works for 1 year. Okay, so this is another company. Just now is company A, right? So I should write down A nicely like this so that I'm not confused, because there's 2 different salary scheme now. So let's go. Then now I have to write another new progression for company B. For company B, the salary is 2,000, right? 2,000 ringgit in the first month. The next following month, it will be increased by 900. So you'll get 2,900. And then the next one will be 3,800 lah. So you don't have to write so many terms, just 3 terms is enough. So this is also, this progression is also for salary, but this time is monthly. So it's not the same with just now. Just now for company A, you calculate it by taking daily, right? So this one is monthly, right? Monthly. So if it's monthly, can you tell me how many months he will work? Okay, just now you tell me 320, right? It will go on until 320 terms. But this one, it will go on until how many terms? Until 12 terms only. Because they in company B they work for 1 year, and this is for 1 month, 1 month, 1 month. So 1 year got 12 months. So you will only there will only be 12 terms in this progression. So your A will still be 2,000. Sorry, your A is 2,000, and then this is also arithmetic because every time you go to the next month you plus 900. So your D will definitely be 900. Okay. So now to calculate the total amount for 1 year, you find the S12. You understand, right? Because this is for 1 month, 1 month, 1 month. So actually you will do for you will you will be calculating it as 12. So the formula you use is same like just now, n over 2, so 12 over 2, big bracket 2a, which is 2 times 2,000, plus n minus 1, 12 minus 1, 11, d 900, right? So now you press calculator. 2 times 2,000 is 4,000, plus with 11 times 900 equals, and then times 6. Okay, my calculator give me, wait, did I do something wrong here? Times 11 times 900 plus 4,000 and times 6. Okay, my calculator give me 83400. Okay, and this is the RM, right? So what is 83400? The total amount of salary that he will receive if he works in company B for 1 year. That's what it means, right? Okay, what about the third question? Third question says, which company should Ahmad choose? Provide your justification. Okay, if you look at question number one, you are also finding for 1 year, right? Because question number one, you are calculating for company A, right? But you are calculating for 320 days, and he also works for 1 year. It's just that in company A, they count their salary day by day, daily. Okay, so but this is still the salary for 1 year. Okay, even though you are finding S 320, it's still for 1 year because 320 represent 320 days. Okay, and it's also, he said already says here 320 days in 1 year. So this is the total salary for 1 year. Okay, and what about the 83400? This is also for 1 year, right? But why you only find S12 is because in company B, they calculate their salary monthly. So that's why you do S12 instead of doing S like 320, something like that, right? So they are both total amount for 1 year. So we can compare them and decide which one is which company should Ahmad choose. So of course he will choose the higher salary one. So which one? I think it's company A, right? Because company A give you higher salary. So I will write company A. So you should choose company A because uh it has, okay, I can say because company A offers higher salary. Okay. So the reason is the company offers higher salary. Yep. So I think this is good enough. Let's continue. Okay, now we will do question number 6. Okay, number 6A. Let's read the question. Okay, diagram 3 shows the curve y equals to fx. Okay, so this is the curve. And then it says here the area under the curve from x equals a to x equals b is represented by n rectangular strips of equal width. So the width here, they are all equal width, right? Where n is a positive integer and n represents number of rectangles, right? So now it says derive the formula for area under curve as n approaching infinity. So 3 marks for this proving question. Okay, what we want to do now? We want to prove the formula to find area under curve. But first, we need to know what is the area formula first. So what is the area formula to find area under curve? It will be integrate B to A, right? Because I'm finding area from here to here. And this one will be dx, all right? This one will be dx, all right? And this will be y, okay? Or actually, you want to write fx also can, because fx and y is the same thing, okay? So this is the formula I'm deriving now, okay? So how do we derive this formula? Okay, this area under curve, actually it comes from splitting the area inside into an infinite number of rectangles, right? So what we want to do now is uh, we will find the area of one rectangle, all right? Area of one rectangle. And what we do is we want to sum up all these rectangles together, okay? So I want to write down the area of this first rectangle first. So how can we find the area of rectangle? We will take base times height, right? So what will be the base here? It will be, okay, since there is n number of rectangles, so to get the height, as to get the distance from here to here, I will take b minus a. Do you agree? So I will take b minus a. Okay, so I will finding the width, the width, right? The width of one rectangle, it will be b minus a, right? B minus a. So b minus a will be the width, but since there's n amount of rectangles here, I have to divide by n, right? It means the width of one rectangle here is b minus a over n. And by the way, they all have same width. Okay, they are all all the rectangles have the same width. It's just that they have different height, right? So now, what will be the height? What would be the height, right? What would be the height of the first rectangle? It will be the y coordinate, right? Because if I want the height, I will refer to the y coordinate here. But how do I know the y coordinate? Well, if we have the equation of curve, we can just uh refer the y coordinate lah. So we can say I'll write y1 here. Okay, because all the rectangle have different height. Do you agree? Some rectangle is taller, some rectangle is shorter. So I will write y1 so that it indicates the first rectangle punya y coordinate. But if I want the third rectangle punya height, then of course I will have to take the third rectangle punya y coordinate. It means I have to refer here. right? This y coordinate, right? Okay, so this is my width and height. So now can I get my area? So I can get my area, which by is taking y1 multiply with this one, right? But I want to tell you something. This one, b minus a divided n is actually very okay, tak apa, tak apa, tak apa. We take this one times this one first to get the area of rectangle, right? So the formula will be y1 multiply with b minus a over n. Okay, but this is only area for one rectangle, right? But I don't want the area of one rectangle. I want area of a bunch of rectangles, right? And it's a bunch of rectangles combined together. So what I will do is I will use this symbol. This is the symbol for sigma. This symbol sigma means sum, right? Because I'm taking the sum of all rectangles, not just one, right? So I'm taking the sum from t equals to 1 until n. It means if I write like this is the width, this is the height, right? But this is only for one rectangle. But we want to sum up all the area of rectangle. So in mathematics, we write it like this. Sum from t equals to 1 until n. It means from the first rectangle until the nth rectangle, because there's n amount of rectangle. So the way we write it is like this. Okay, t equals 1 to n. Okay. So what we want to do now is we want the n to approach infinity. Okay, then maybe student will ask why? Why we want the n to approach infinity? Because let's refer to diagram here. Oops, what happened? Okay, if you refer the diagram here, you can see that when you find all the area of rectangle add together, you will not get the area under curve because there are some little gaps. Can you see all these little gaps that you are not finding? Even though the gap is very small, you can still see that when you find the area of rectangle, you are leaving out the empty gap space. Do you agree? So how can I make the gap disappear? Okay, to make the gap disappear, I have to make more rectangles. The more rectangles inside the here, the smaller the gap, this gap will be. Do you understand? That is why I want my n, which is the number of rectangle, to be infinity. Because when your n is infinity, eventually you will have more rectangles, right? So eventually you are just finding the whole, like everything add together, and the empty space will disappear, right? So what you want now is you want your n to be infinity. So how can we make the n infinity then? Okay, in mathematics, in Addmaths, we will use this thing. We will use the limit concept, right? Because we want our n to be infinity, right? It's okay. How do we say this? It's not infinity, but it will be approaching infinity. So we want our n to approach infinity now. So this is what it means by n approaching infinity. It means I want the number of rectangle here to approach infinity. It's not actually infinity, it's just approaching infinity. So when the limit approaching infinity, but I still have to do all this, right? So all these things I still have to write it. And then t equals to 1. Yeah, everything here I still have to write. And then y1 multiply with b minus a over n. I still have to do all this. Okay. So this is my new equation. So now how to continue? Okay. When we are finding limit n approaching infinity, okay, it means I'm finding the sum of rectangles from t equals to 1, which is the first rectangle, until the infinity triangle, right? Because there's infinity bunch of triangles now, right? But this thing we will introduce another symbol to write this, okay? And what we will introduce is the integration symbol, right? Which is like a letter S, but it's a stretched out S, right? And this is actually meaning sum, right? I'm actually finding the sum, okay? And the sum, we will use this symbol to represent, okay? Integration. And then the y1 is no longer y1 anymore, because y1 is only the y coordinate of the first rectangle. But when we are taking the infinity, okay, when we are taking infinity, we don't have to write the 1 anymore, because we are just taking, because if there's infinity triangles, everything will just compress together. So the y1, it just ends up, we will just write y already. We just write y already. We don't care about the first rectangle because there's infinity of them. So we just call it y. And as for the b minus a over n, it's actually the distance here to here, right? But what's going to happen if n is approaching to infinity? If the n is approaching to infinity, it means you are taking b minus a dy infinity, right? But b minus a is just going to be a random number. But what happens when you divide a random number with infinity? You will get 0. When you divide infinity, it's actually possible. You will get 0. Anything divided infinity is 0. Okay. So what does it mean now? It means your delta x is approaching 0, because if your b minus a over n is actually the small change in x, right? Because when you take b minus a, you are taking the change in x-axis, right? The change in x-axis. So this is actually the change in x. So if I say that my n is infinity, means this whole thing will will not be exactly 0, but it will approach 0. Okay, it will approach 0. So what does it mean now? Okay, let's erase this. So when n approaching infinity, okay, when n approaching infinity, what I'm saying now is it will become limit, okay, delta x approaching 0, because delta x means the small change in x, right? So when my n is infinity, because we have infinity amount of triangles, right? What happens here is this is still n, and then this is still t equals 1, this is still y1, but this whole thing is delta x, right? Because b minus a over n is just it's just the delta x, right? So now we will combine these two symbols, becomes the integration symbol. The y1 I will still write, but I will not write 1 anymore. I'll just write y, okay? And the delta x is, because if it's infinity amount of triangles, the delta x doesn't matter already, because the delta x will just be the infinity amount of width, amount of width add together. So we won't call it delta x anymore. We'll just call it dx, right? We just call it dx, and we have to write the numbers here and here. And number here is actually this number and this number. Okay, so when we write at first, we write t equals to 1 until n, right? Because there's n amount of rectangle. But since now there's infinity triangle, we will just call this b and a, where b is the ending point and a is the starting point. So this one is the area formula, right? This is how we derive the formula. So it's actually integrate from a to b y dx, like that. Okay, so yeah, I think 3 marks, this is good enough, right? Okay, so let's continue with B. Hence, find the area of shaded region in diagram 4. So this is the region. So to get the area, I have to integrate. So this is dx lah, because you are finding area under curve, and this is towards x-axis, right? Direct towards x-axis, right? That's why it's dx, and this must be y, and then here will be the starting point and the ending point, which is 4, 1, from 1 to 4. Okay, okay. Y for this for this diagram, the y-axis they write y, right? But here they write fx. It means y and fx is the same thing. So this one is actually fx. Okay. So now you can substitute inside. It will be integrate from 1 to 4. Fx is just 3 over x squared, but I will bring the x naikkan dia, become 3x power negative 2. Why I naik atas is because when the x duduk bawah, you cannot integrate. Okay, that's why you have to naikkan. So now you can integrate. So I will write big bracket. So when we start integrate, we will not write the integration sign anymore. So we will just start to integrate. We will take the power plus 1, negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1, over the new power negative 1, and then close the bracket for 1. So this is how we integrate. And then now we can simplify dalam dulu. 3 divided negative 1 is negative 3. X power negative 1, you can put it down, because when you put it down, it will become x power positive 1. And then this is 4, 1. And then now what we do is you substitute 4 inside, and then substitute 1 inside, and then tengah-tengah minus. When you substitute 4, you get negative 3 over 4. When you substitute 1, you get negative 3. And then press calculator, negative 3 over 4 plus 3. So the answer calculator give me is 9 over 4. Okay, so this is the area. So just write unit square here, because it's area, right? Okay, so this is how I would do this question, right? The integration question. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, let's go with number 7. Express y in terms of x. Question 1, this says 5 power x minus 1 equals to square root this thing. Okay, when we, this is an indices question, right? And when we are doing indices question ataupun log question, we have to make sure it's same base, right? And straight away I can see already 5 and 25 can change to same base, right? So 25 is 5 power 2, right? So what happens if I take 5 power 2 power 7 minus y? These 2 and 7 minus y, we will times together. It will become 5 power 14 minus 2y. But there is still a square root. So square root means power 1 over 2. So I can write power 1 over 2 like this, right? So now it will become 5 power x minus 1 equals to 5 power. Okay, same thing now. You will take the power here and the power here and times. What is 14 times 1 over 2? 7. Negative 2y times 1 over 2? Negative y. And since now they already same base on both sides, now we can compare. So when we compare, when the base is same, the power should be same also. So x minus 1 equals to 7 minus y. And I think they want y in terms of x, right? So let's make the y single. So if I want to make the y single, I will try to make it positive first. So y will be on here. And then the x I will move here, become negative x. Negative 1 also move here, become plus 1. So 7 plus 1, positive 8. So the answer is y equals negative x plus 8, right? Or you can write 8 minus x also can, is the same thing. Okay. All right. Now we continue with second question. Second question says k over h power negative 7 equals to h over k power x plus 2y. So I will do it like just now, right? I will try to make them same base both sides and then compare the power. But this time, the base here is k over h. This one is h over k. So how? Okay, you can actually terbalikkan this. K over h become h over k. But when you terbalik like this, the power have to tukar tanda. It means the negative 7 become power 7, right? It means if I have 1 over 3 power negative 7, I can switch place, right? I can terbalikkan, I can naikkan the 3. Okay, it will just be 3 over 1 like that. But what happens to the power? The power will change to power positive, right? And then the O1 we usually don't write like this, right? So when we terbalikkan atas bawah, we can do that. We just have to make sure the power have to change sign, have to tukar tanda. So what happens here is k over h power negative 7 become k h over k power 7, right? But the other side is also h over k, but it's power x plus 2y. And since both sides also h over k is the base, it means the power we can compare. So x plus 2y equals 7. And since I'm finding y in terms of x, I have to make the y single. So pindah the x become minus, pindah the 2 become dy, right? So this is the answer. Okay, let's continue with B. Given this thing equals to this, express m and n in terms of x. So what I will need to do now is rationalize lah. Yeah, very straightforward. So 3 plus x square root 2 over 4 minus square root 2, right? What we want to do now is rationalize this thing so that later it becomes this form. And after it becomes this form, we can compare and find out the m and n. Okay, how to rationalize this? Rationalize means we want to hilangkan square root at the denominator. We want to get rid of the square root at the bottom. Okay, so how do we get rid of the square root? We have to multiply with the conjugate cert. So the conjugate cert for this case will be 4 plus square root 2, 4 plus square root 2, right? So it means when I multiply the 4 minus square root 2 with 4 plus square root 2, the square root will hilang. Okay, the square root will disappear. So now what I will not do is I will multiply. Okay, first let's take bawah times bawah first. So if we take 4 minus square root 2 times 4 plus square root 2, what will happen? So what is 4 times 4? 16, right? And the next thing it will be 4 times square root 2, but I will not do that because 4 times square root 2 is 4 square root 2, and then the next thing is negative square root 2 times 4, which is negative 4 square root 2. So what is 4 square root 2 minus 4 square root 2? It will be 0. That's why they will cancel each other, so I can skip that. And then skip to the last step, negative square root 2 times positive square root 2, which is negative 2, right? Because square root 2 times square root 2, it means 2 power 1 over 2 times 2 power 1 over 2, which is 2 power 2 over 2, because the power you plus. So 2 power 1 lah. That's why I just write 2 only, right? But don't forget to write minus because there's a minus there, right? So minus plus become minus. Okay, now yang atas pula, 3 times 4, 12. 3 times square root 2 plus 3 square root 2. X square root 2 times 4, 4x square root 2. And then x square root 2 times square root 2. Okay, x, nothing will happen to the x. But square root 2 times square root 2 will be 2. I already explained just now, because square root is power 1 over 2. So 2 power 1 over 2 times 2 power 1 over 2 is 2 power 2 over 2, which is 2 power 1. Now 16 minus 2 is 14. Number dengan number boleh buat, cert dengan cert boleh buat. So 12 plus 2x, I'll write it sekali. And then 3 square root 2 plus 4x square root 2, we can let the square root 2 becomes a. So now it becomes 3a plus 4x square root 2. So we can actually factorize out the square root 2 like this. And then what's left here is just 3 plus 4x, right? It means I just factorize out the square root 2 like that. Okay. Okay, can we solve this? Can we still simplify this? Yes, right. Because later I have to make sure I find if I want to find m and n, I have to write it in this form, right? And if you look at the form they write, there's actually no fraction, right? So what I have to do now is I have to separate it like this. Yeah, I have to separate it like this, right? Because bawah ada satu term, that's why I can separate. So now it will look like this: 12 plus 2x over 14 plus uh, mm, 3 plus 4x, and then square root 2 over 14. Okay, because the reason why I separate like this is because later I want to compare, right? Okay, 12 plus 2x over 14, this one can simplify actually, because you can take all these numbers, can divide by 2, but you cannot cut now. You cannot cut now because it's plus in the middle. So what you have to do is you factorize out the 2 first. After you factorize, then only you can cut, right? Because when you factorize out, it becomes times relation, right? So 12 divided 2 is 6, 2x divided 2 is x, right? So now it becomes something times something divide something. So when it's a times, you can cut. Left 7 here. And then this one, okay, this one memang tak boleh simplify already. So I will just write like this, but I'll write it a little bit different. Instead of writing everything over 14, I'll write over 14, and then the square root 2, I'll write in the middle. Okay. Actually, it's the same thing lah, but why I want to write like this is so that it's easy to compare later, right? So now you can actually compare already. 6 plus x over 7 plus 3 plus 4x over 14 square root 2. So the answer they give us is m plus n square root 2, right? So m plus n square root 2, m plus n square root 2. So if you compare this with this, we can see that what is the m and what is the n. My m will be whatever in front, which is 6 plus x over 7. And then n will be the coefficient of square root 2, which is 3 plus 4x over 14. Right? And I don't think you can simplify this anymore. So this is the final answer. All right? Okay, done. All right, let's continue. Number 8, diagram 5 shows a graph of function fx equals to this one, right? And then the undefined case, x cannot equals 3. All right, so this is the function. And then soalan A says find value of h and k. Okay, a lot of students, when they find h and k, what they will do is they will go and ganti x equals 0, y equals 0. Salah, salah. Okay, some students, they do it like this because they thought, oh, sir, I'm finding the x-intercept and y-intercept. So I have to ganti x equals 0, y equals 0. Okay, this is wrong. Look carefully. H and K is not the x-intercept and y-intercept, right? Because H, the curve didn't even touch H. Do you agree? See, the curve is like this. So the curve got touch H. No, right? So it's not correct to say H is the x-intercept. Same thing, the K also, the curve never even touched K. So you can't tell me K is the y-intercept, right? So H and K is definitely not the x-intercept and definitely not the y-intercept. So what is H and K then? All right, if you look carefully, H and K is actually the undefined case for the function. Do you agree? Because, how to say this? If you look at when the x coordinate is H, the curve actually didn't even touch. That means the curve will not have the x coordinate H. It will not have, because this curve, it will not touch H. So what it means is H is actually the undefined case. So what is H then? It will be 3, because you already know x cannot equals to 3 just now, right? So H is 3. Okay, do you understand? Because when H is 3, there will be no answer undefined. All right, it means the curve will not intersect the x-axis. The curve will not have any point where the x coordinate is 3. That's what it means, right? But how do we find k? Okay, k is also an undefined case, but for the y coordinate, right? So how to do this? Okay, we all know when we have any function, okay, let's say the function is like this, right? Like this, right? And if I want to find the inverse of this function, okay, the inverse graph for this, it will just be a reflection under this line, y equals x. So if this is my fx, then my f inverse will be the reflection of this line. So when we reflect this, it will look like this, right? So this will be my f inverse, okay, my f inverse. And they both will have the same shape. It's just that they are on the other side, okay, because they already reflect, right? So how can we find k? It's actually, we can do it like this. We can take fx, which is 2x plus 5 over x minus 3, and then find the f inverse, right? Because we find f inverse is because we want to get the how to say, the opposite of the opposite curve on the other side, and then find the undefined case for the f inverse, right? Okay, how do we find f inverse? Let depan equals y, let belakang equals y. So let depan equals y means let fx equals y, And then belakang pun equals y, which is whole thing 2x plus 5 over x minus 3 equals y. And now I will find x both sides. So how to find x? The f, when you move there, become f inverse y. So now I can try to find x here because x is actually my f inverse y. So how to find x? First, I will get rid of the fraction. Just take the x minus 3, move up here, become times x times y is xy. Negative 3y times y is negative 3y. And don't forget, I'm finding x, right? Because x is my f inverse. So how can I find x now? So I will collect everything that have x together. So it will become 2x plus xy move there become minus xy, right? Equals negative 3y is here. I'll write here. Plus 5 can move there become minus 5. And since I'm finding x, I will factorize out the x. So you will left with 2 minus y here equals to 3y minus 5. So your x is actually 3y minus 5 divided 2 minus y. And x is actually your f inverse. So f inverse y equals to 3y minus 5 over 2 minus y. So what is your f inverse x then? It will be 3x minus 5 over 2 minus x. And can you see there's also undefined case for the f inverse function? What is the undefined case? It will be 2 because uh, the whole thing, the bawah cannot equal 0, right? So if 2 minus x cannot equal 0, it means negative x cannot equals negative 2, x cannot equals to 2, right? That's why the undefined case is 2. It means k is 2, okay? It means k is 2, right? So this is 2 and this is 3. Okay, so I repeat one more time. H is the undefined case for fx. K is the undefined case for f inverse. Okay, so this is how you do it. Okay, so now I think I should write one more time, right? So H equals to 3, K equals to 2. Okay, let's continue with B. B says the point 413 lies on the graph of fx, right? So 413 lies on the graph of fx. So, okay, determine the corresponding coordinate lying on the graph of f inverse. Well, it will be 13, 4. Yeah, that's why it only worth 1 marks, right? Okay, let me explain. When you take any curve and you reflect under this line, y equals x, what happens to the coordinate? The coordinate xy will switch, right? They will switch become yx, right? So for example, if I have a point which is 13, 4, right? 13, 4, right? And when you reflect under this line, y equals x, it will be 4, 13, right? Because when you are doing f inverse, it means you are taking the object and image, you terbalikkan. It means you are doing songsang. Songsang means this is the object, this is the image, right? What you're doing is you terbalikkan the object and image, right? That's why it's called inverse, right? So what happens here is the x coordinate and y coordinate will terbalik. So 4, 13 become 13, 4. So I think you just have to understand the concept of how to get the f inverse from the fx lah. Okay, so I hope you understand. Okay, all right, let's continue with number 9a. Number 9a asks us to derive cos 2 theta equals to 1 minus 2 sine square theta. Okay, this is the formula for double angle for cos 2 theta, right? So they want me to derive. Okay, derive and prove is lebih kurang the same meaning lah. So how do we derive this? Okay, first thing first is I'll write cos 2 theta. Okay, and I will use the addition angle for cos 2 theta. The addition angle for cos is cos A plus minus B equals to cos A cos B minus plus sine A sine B. Right, this is the addition angle, and this is what I will use to prove to derive the formula. Right, so cos 2 theta will be what? It will be cos, okay, 2 theta we can say is actually theta plus theta, right? And why I want to write theta plus theta is because later I want to use this formula to derive. Okay, that is why I want to make it into theta plus theta. Okay, and since it's theta plus theta now I can write cos A cos B, but I don't write A and B, I write cos theta because my A and B, they are both theta, right? My A and B is theta now. And then minus plus, okay, what does it mean by minus plus? Minus plus means you don't follow whatever here. So if this is plus, you have to write minus, all right? That's what it means. And then sine A sine B will just be sine theta, right? Okay, what is cos theta times multiply with cos theta? Cos square theta. What is sine theta multiplied with sine theta? Sine square theta. But I still haven't proved this, so I still have to keep going. Now what I will do is I will use the basic identity. Okay, basic identity. So what is the basic identity? There's a basic identity, sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1, right? So what we can do with the cos square theta? The cos square theta is actually 1. This one can move over there, become 1 minus sine square. And now this one I can change the cos square to 1 minus sine square, and then minus sine square again at the back, right? So now 1 minus sine square is just 1 minus 2 sine square theta, right? And then you end up with this, so you can write derived, right? Okay, done. Let's go B. Solve this equation. -3 cos 2 theta equals to 5 minus 8 sine theta. Okay, the reason why I open bracket for the cos 2 theta is because I know if I want to solve this, I want to make sure my equation only have sine ataupun only have cos. But the sine theta cannot change already. Sine theta cannot change to anything already because dia tak ada square, dia tak ada 2 theta, like memang cannot change already this one, right? But cos 2 theta we can change, right? But what you should change the cos 2 theta? The cos 2 theta you should change to what? You should change to 1 minus 2 sine square, right? Because if you change to 1 minus 2 sine square, then you will end up with an equation where it only have sine, right? So now you can expand everything and then find and then cari sign lah. Okay, -3 times 1 is -3. -3 times negative is positive 6. Sine square theta equals to 5 minus 8 sine theta. Since I'm finding sine, I will try to arrange everything. But since also it has square, so this is actually a quadratic. So I will try to arrange pindah everything on one side equals 0. So -8 move everything on this side. So -8 become +8. And then -3 plus 5 become -5, which is -8 equals 0. Now you have a quadratic equation, but before you press calculator, make sure if can kecilkan, you kecilkan. So all this number can divide 2. So divide 2, 3 sine square. Divide 2, 4 sine. Divide 2, 4 equals 0. So now you can press calculator, and then you will get two answer. But the two answer is not theta, it's sine theta. Okay, it's sine theta. Alright, because this equation is a quadratic yang melibatkan sine theta. Alright, so remember don't write theta. Okay, now we will press calculator. So what is the A? 3. What's the B? 4. What's the C? -4. Okay, my calculator give me 2/3 and -2. So that is not the theta yet. That is the sine theta. So what you have to write atas here? It will be 3 sine theta minus 2. It will be sine theta plus 2. Okay, sine, when you shift sine 2, is just going to be undefined, right? Because sine, dia punya limit is 1 and -1. So this one, when you press shift sine 2, you just end up infinite, math error. Okay, math error, no answer. Okay, and then, but this one, you can do it. Okay, and this is a normal case. Normal case, you can use calculator, right? But if it's special case, you have to hafal. Special case is if your sign equals to 1, 0, ataupun -1. Okay, but this is not special case, normal case. So normal case, you can tekan calculator, but you have to determine quadrant first. Add sugar to coffee. Sign is positive, so first quadrant, second quadrant. So how to get my, okay, now I can get my theta. I move the sign there, becomes shift sign, which is sine inverse 2/3 like that. Okay. Oh, but what? But if one day this value got negative, you shouldn't press the negative, right? Because the negative only indicates quadrant. Okay. So okay, now we press shift sign 2/3. Okay, my calculator give me 41 degree 49 minutes. Actually, it's 48, but since belakang more than 30, I have to plus 1. So 41 degree 49 minutes, right? And this thing, we don't call it theta, we call it RA. What is RA? Reference angle. Reference angle means angle towards X. It means this angle and this angle. So if this angle and this angle is 41 degree 49, how can I get my real angle? Okay, I have to consider the quadrant lah. So in quadrant 1, which is here to here, so that one is 41 degree 49 minute, right? And the other angle will be here to here. But how to get this angle? 180 minus with the reference angle. So 180 minus 41 degree 49 minute, 138 degree 11 minutes, right? So we only have these two answers, right? But if this one is not undefined, you will get answer here also, right? Then you should combine the two answers here, okay? But since the other one is undefined, it means we only have these two answers, right? So that's all. Okay, let's continue with number 10. Diagram 6 shows a radioactive symbol. Okay, we can see it. The symbol is used to indicate the presence of radioactive source or of device. Radioactive containers and area where the radioactive material are stored. Okay, all this is like nothing important here. Like even if you don't read also, it's fine. They never mention anything important, right? It's all distraction. So it's not important. Okay, everything here is not important. So now I'll just skip that and read down here. The symbol consists of a small circle in center of radius r. Okay, this is the important. Small circle, radius r. So this small circle, the radius is r. So I think I can write like this and label r, right? Okay. Okay, now it says symbol of 3 blades of the same size. So 1 blade, 2 blade, 3 blade, and they are all same size. And it says the blade is part of a sector with angle theta. Okay, let's form the sector now. Okay, so let's use the red pen. So this blade is actually part of a sector. So we can all say that this is the center lah. And yeah, this is a sector. Okay. Sector means the shape looks like this, right? Sector is a shape that looks like this, where it has two radius and then one arc. So the blade is actually part of a sector with angle theta. So this is angle is theta, right? And separated from each other by S. What does this mean? Separated from each other by S. Okay, this, what is S? Actually, I don't know, but it's fine. Let's keep reading first. Given M ratio N is 3 ratio 7. Okay, this is very important. So M is the distance here, N is the distance here, and the ratio is 3, 7. And then M equals to 1.5 R. Okay, I should write this down also, 1.5 R. By using theta in radian, to find the area of shaded region in terms of pi and R. It means I don't have to find the radius. I don't have to find the exact value of radius because they want the answer in terms of pi and R, right? So I don't have to find radius, but I have to find the angle. I have to find the angle because if I don't have the angle in radian, I cannot find my area shaded region. Okay, so my area of shaded region can only be in terms of pi and R, but the angle I have to find. Okay, first thing first is let's look at this information. M ratio N equals to 3 ratio 7, right? So if you look carefully, M is actually the distance from where to where. It's actually from the distance from the center to this part, right? Okay, but we already know here to here is R, right? The soalan mentioned just now the radius of small circle, but the distance M is not the radius of the circle. It's actually the radius of the small circle plus with a small plus with lagi plus with this, right? So how can we use this ratio and this one to find the N distance? Very easy because M over N is 3 over 7 because ratio is like fraction, right? And since M is 1.5 R, it means 1.5 over N equals to 3 over 7. And now I can find N. 3 times N is N. 7 times 1.5. Press calculator. I will get 10.5 R. And then N is just 10.5 divide 3, which is 3.5 R. It means my N is 3.5 R. Okay, and it's okay if you didn't find the R because the soalan memang wants you to write in terms of R. So my N is 3.5 R. Okay, and N is the distance from here to here, right? And my M is 1.5 R. Okay, so now we can actually find the area of the blade, right? We can find the area of blade because area of blade is the area of big sector minus the area of the small sector, right? So I can write here area of blade. Okay, how do you say it just now? 3 blades. Okay, let's just find area of 3 blades lah. 3 blades. So the area of 3 blades will be 3 times because we got 3, right? So 3 times. Okay, how to get area of 1 blade? So 1 blade will be area of sector minus area of sector. But we have to find the area of big sector, which is 1 over 2 r squared theta. But the radius will be from here to here, which is 1.5 R plus 3.5 R. If you press 1.5 plus 3.5, you'll get 5 R. And then you have to square it times with the theta in radian. Okay, the theta in radian, do you have it? Okay, the soalan never give us, right? So I think I have to find the theta by myself. Okay, how to find the theta? Okay, the theta will be, how many? I think we can say that the theta is, can we say that the theta is, okay, actually how to find the theta? Okay, I remember just now they got mentioned something about S just now, right? The blade is part of sector with angle theta and separated each other by S. Oh, it means this S is this one lah. So it means S is actually the length of arc. So this length of arc should be S also, right? And this arc should be S also, right? And they are separated by S also. So this is also S. And this is also S. It means what is the circumference of the circle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's actually 6S, right? 6S. Okay. And since it's 6S, it means the angle, the angle for this will be 2 pi, because one circle is 360, right? Divided by 6 lah. Do you agree? Because uh one, if the angle is theta, then the length of arc is S. But for one circle is how to say? For one circle the circumference for the whole circle is 6s, right? So to get the angle for this part, it will be the full circle is 360 degree. 360 degree in radian is 2 pi divided by 6 lah, because there are 6 equal size. Okay, 6 equal size because they are all S. So you'll get pi over 3 radian. So it means now you know your radian, now you know your angle already is pi over 3. So this one is pi over 3. Okay, but it's not finished yet. This is the area of big sector. I still have to minus with the area of small sector. So use the 1 over 2 r squared theta formula one more time. But the small sector is this one, right? This one, right? So what is the radius? The radius will be 1.5 r lah. And then what is the theta? It's also pi over 3, right? So now you'll get 3 times this one. 5r squared is 25r squared. But you have to divide 2 divide 3, which is divide 6. And then there is a pi here, right? And then minus 1.5 squared, press calculator. My calculator give me 2.25. So it will be 2.25. But divide 2 divide 3 means divide 6 and then pi r squared, right? Actually, I should write this. Wait. I forget the r here. Okay, forget the r here. Okay, so yeah. Actually, this one I also will change how I write. I will not write like this. I will just write pi r squared like this. Okay, it's better to write like this. Okay, why I have to times 3 is because we are only finding the area of one blade. That's why I have to times 3, right? So now I can write down 3 multiply with this one. I can press 25 over 6 minus 2.25 divide 6. Okay, my calculator give me 91 over 24. But of course, this is the area of one blade. Now you have to times 3. So you will get 91 over 8 pi r squared. Okay, 91 over 8 pi r squared. Now I can find the area of shaded region, which is 91 over 8 pi r squared. This is the area of 3 blade, by the way. 3 blades. But there's still one more shaded region I have to plus, which is the circle, right? And the find area of circle is very easy. You just use the pi r square formula, right? Pi r square formula. So plus with pi r square. And the r for the small circle is r. They already mentioned it, r. Right? So you just write r and then square. Okay. So now what you press? 91 over 8 plus 1. Okay, plus 1. So now my calculator give me 99 over 8. So that's the answer. 99 over 8 pi r square. Okay. So they want your answer in terms of pi and r, right? So yeah, in terms of pi and r, right? And since this is area, I think you should write cm square. Okay, everything is in cm, right? Yeah. They never mention actually cm or whatever. So if they never mention, I think no need to write. Okay, so you just write 99 over 8 pi r square. Okay. Or maybe you write unit square lah, unit square. Unit square. Right? Because we don't know the unit here. We don't know whether it's like cm or meter. Okay. All right. Hope you understand. Now we continue with question number 11. Okay, let's read the question. Every Wednesday, Warung Selera Santai provides breakfast menus such as nasi lemak, mee goreng, lontong, while the drinks provided are tea and coffee. By using a tree diagram, determine the number of possible choice for each customer. So we have to draw a tree diagram. So let's draw some lines. So you can from the menu you can choose how to say 3 food, right? So you can go with nasi lemak, or mee goreng. So I'm drawing the tree diagram now, and then the next one is lontong. Okay, actually what's lontong? I also don't know. Okay, but whatever lah. And then the drinks provided is tea and coffee. It means the total choice will be 3 times 2. Okay, 6 actually. Okay. Nasi lemak. But if you choose nasi lemak, for the drinks you can choose tea or you can choose coffee, right? Same thing, if you go with mee goreng, you also can choose tea or coffee. If you go with lontong, you can also choose tea, coffee, right? So how many option in total? 6 option, right? So it's either nasi lemak, you order nasi lemak with tea, or you might order nasi lemak with coffee, or mee goreng with tea, or mee goreng with coffee, alright, ataupun lontong with tea, and or you can also go choose lontong coffee. So these are all the options you have, right? So how many options? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 options, right? And remember, when you draw 3 diagram, always write down the end result beside here, right? This one memang kena tulis, right? So what they want to do here, using a 3 diagram, determine number of possible choices. So what is the number of possible choices? 6 lah, right? So how can we write here? The, okay, total lah. We just write total number of choices is 6, right? Is 6, right? Because there's only 6 choices, right? So number of possible choice is 6. Okay. Actually, you should write possible here. Okay, now let's do B. B says 8 students labeled A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H want to sit at a round table. Find the number of ways to arrange students if there is no condition. Okay, this is very simple. When you arrange in a round table, the formula you use must be this, n minus 1 factorial, or you can also say n factorial divide n. This formula and this formula is the same. It will give you the same answer, right? But you also sometimes if it's a bracelet ataupun necklace question, you have to divide 2. Okay, like that, right? Like that. If it's a bracelet ataupun necklace question, okay? But this question, I don't think it's a bracelet necklace question, so you don't have to do that. So for no condition, it will just be 8 students, 8 minus 1 factorial, like that, right? So what you will get? Let's press calculator. 5040. So that's the answer. Okay. But if you want to use this other formula, can also. If you use this formula, you press 8 factorial divide 8. But you will get same answer. Okay, you can try. Okay, next question, it says A and B must be seated together. So this is question 1 answer. For question 2, they want A and B seated together. So let's draw it out. So we have 8 how to say 8 students. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So since 2 must be sit together, A and B must sit together, so I will group them up like this, right? So we are not arranging 8 students in a circle. We are arranging 7, because if this one have to group together, it means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And since I'm arranging 7 in a circle, I will take 7 minus 1 factorial. Okay, or you can also say 7 factorial divide 7. Okay, but I still have to times with, okay, the AB, they can terbalik also be, they can also be BA, 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 BA. So I have to try times with 2 factorial, right? And if we press this, we'll get the answer. Okay, so 6 factorial times 2 factorial. Okay, the answer is 1440, right? So that's the answer. Okay, all right. So yang bawah, this one is the A working, and then the B working, I just write beside here. Okay, so hope you understand. Now we continue. Okay, let's look at number 12. Diagram 7 shows position of 4 house A, B, C, D, drawn on the Cartesian plan with the condition that the house form a parallelogram. So if we form a parallelogram, we can actually draw out lah. So A to C, this is the parallelogram. So let's draw it out. Okay. So if parallelogram means what? It means atas bawah parallel, kiri kanan pun parallel. But not only they are parallel, not only the opposite side are parallel, they will sama panjang also. They will be the same length as well. Okay. And if they are parallel and same length, it means they will have the same magnitude and same direction. It means they have the same vector. Right? This vector and this vector will be exactly the same. Okay, same here. This vector and this vector also will be exactly the same. Okay, now let's see what they want. Soalan A, given that the displacement of A and B is 9 km, displacement means shortest distance. So A to B, the distance, the shortest distance is 9 km. So can we find the coordinate of B? Can, right? Okay, let's see what else they say. The path from A to B is parallel to x-axis. So if A to B is parallel to x-axis, it means AB line is parallel to x-axis and parallel to CD as well. It means CD, x-axis, AB, they are all parallel. And then it says find vector of house B. Okay, if you want to find the vector of house B, it means I'm finding vector OB. All right. And let me tell you, this is coordinate vector because they give you in a Cartesian plane, right? So everything, it will be in terms of IJ later, right? Everything will be in terms of IJ later. Okay. But when it's in terms of IJ, you can actually write it in a column vector form where you write atas, bawah like that also can. So atas would be the pergerakan I, bawah would be pergerakan J. I means I is for the pergerakan yang kiri kanan lah, J is for pergerakan yang atas bawah. So O to B. So I think first I need to have coordinate of B first lah. And how to do that? Okay, -5 plus 9 will be 4. It means this is 4. Okay, 3 will still be 3, right? Because they have the same y coordinate 3. It's just that the negative 5 have to plus 9 become 4, right? So what is your vector OB? Okay, if you want to find vector from O to B, you will take B coordinate minus O coordinate, because you want to know O to B, how many pergerakan, how many times you have to move horizontally and how many times you have to move vertically, right? So you will take B minus O coordinate. So you will take 4 minus 0, 3 minus 0. So when you take 4 minus 0, that will be the coefficient of I. And then when you take 3 minus 0, that will be coefficient of J. So the answer is 4I plus 3J. Okay, it means O to B, you have to move 4 ke kanan and then 3 ke atas, right? And remember this, I is for pergerakan yang kiri kanan, J is for pergerakan atas bawah, right? So understand, huh? So let's say if I have a vector X to Y, it means I have to take which coordinate minus which coordinate. I have to take Y coordinate minus X coordinate, right? We always take the belakang punya point minus the depan punya point, right? So if it's OB, I have to take B coordinate minus O coordinate, right? Okay, let's continue with B. Find the resultant vector from B to C. It means I want to find B to C. So if I want to find vector from B to C, okay, let's erase this. B to C, which means I'm going from here to here, right? And I already have the B coordinate and the C coordinate. So can I find the vector? Yes, but it will be in terms of IJ, right? But how I want to cari the coefficient of I and coefficient of J? Okay, for a coefficient of I, you can take X coordinate minus X coordinate. For the coefficient of J, you can take Y coordinate minus Y coordinate. But when you take X coordinate minus X coordinate, you must take negative 3 minus 4. You cannot take 4 minus negative 3 because it's vector B to C now. So B to C. So B is the starting point, C is the ending point. It means you must take the ending point, which is C, minus the X coordinate. So negative 3 minus 4. And then it will be negative 2 minus 3 for the coefficient of J. So you end up with negative 7I minus 5J, right? It means from B to C, you have to go negative 7 horizontally, move to the left, negative 7. Negative 7 means move to the left 7 lah. And then negative 5 means move down 5, right? So that's the answer for B. Okay, finally we are at question C. Let's read the question. So question C says what? Amir walked from C to S. So point C is negative 3, negative 2. S is 2k with a constant velocity of this. So velocity is like speed. So this is the speed. It takes him h minutes to reach the source. Find value of k and h. Okay, how I will do this is I will take the speed, which is 6i plus 9j. Okay, and then I will times with the time. Yeah, I'll times the time. But the time, they say they use h minutes to represent, right? So I'll write h, right? But this one, if you look carefully, the unit for speed is what? Kilometer per hour. Kilometer per jam means kilometer per hour, right? But the h is in minutes. So when I times with the time in hours, the height can cut become kilometer, right? But since my height is in minutes, I have to write h over 60 here. Okay, because I want to convert to hours, right? And the reason why is because I want it to be same unit lah. And this, after you take the speed times with the time in hours, you will get the distance in kilometers. Okay, and the distance in kilometers will be vector C to S, because I'm going from C to S, right? And we can find my CS vector easily in terms of IJ, right? So how to find the distance from C to S? Okay, the C point is negative 3, negative 2. The S is this one, right? So for this first bracket, you have to take X coordinate minus X coordinate. But you must take the, the 2 minus negative 3, which is 2 plus 3. Okay, because you are going from C to S, not S to C. So if you're going from C to S, it means you have to take the S coordinate minus the C coordinate. So that's why it's 2 minus negative 3, and then K minus negative 2, which is K plus 2. So you end up with 5i plus k plus 2j, right? But the other side is h over 60 times this, which is h over 10i plus 9 over 60. You can use calculator. 3 over 20j. Okay, 3 over 20j. So now you will write this one more time, h over 10i plus 3 over 20j. So now you can compare the coefficient of I with coefficient of I and the coefficient of j with coefficient of j. So coefficient of I is h over 10 equals 5, h equals 50, right? And then 3 over 20 is the j coefficient equals to k plus 2. So your k will be 3 over 20 minus 2, okay? Okay, my calculator give me negative, wait, I think I do it something wrong here. 3 over 20, let's see. 9, 6i, okay, where I buat salah, 9 divide 60. 3 over 20. Oh, I forget to write H. Patut lah. So 3 over 9 times H, right? There should be a H here. Okay, so careless mistake. I forget to write H here. So it should be 3H over 20 equals K plus 2. So this one I have to erase. So I will write 3H, but H I already know is 50, right? So over 20 equals to K plus 2. So now I want to find K. 3 times 50 divide 20 and then minus 2. So I get 11 over 2, which is 5.5, right? So they say find the value of K and H, right? So I think finish already. This is the answer. Okay, I want to explain a bit more. This question, it actually, because not many, because some students, they will ask me like, why, sir, why you are taking the speed multiply with the time? Okay, let me tell you the formula. Let me explain more. The formula for speed is distance over time. Okay, so to get the distance, what you can do, you can take speed darab dengan time to get the distance, right? So now do you understand why I take the speed times with the time? It's because I will, if I take speed times time, I will get the distance, right? So what I'm doing here is take the speed darab dengan distance, darab dengan time, I will get the distance, which is CS lah. Okay, so and then I compare the coefficient lah. So it actually makes sense to do it like this, right? Okay, let me show you another similar question. Okay, in the Pahang paper. So I remember one of these questions they also ask us like this, right? So yep, where is it? This one. Okay, this one. So you look at C. A student move from S to A, and then they give you the velocity, which is the speed, and then he takes t second. Based on the information, find t and k. So how to do this? Same like just now lah, right? You will take the speed. Look at my working. See, I take the speed 3i plus 4j. I times with the time, which is t, equals to the distance SA, and then the SA I will take the a coordinate minus the s coordinate, and then after that I compare the coefficient, right? So yeah, it's very similar. If you want the explanation for this question, you can look at my last video. This is my Pahang, this is the Pahang paper, right? The Pahang trial for 2023, and I already made one videos for this paper. So if you look at my Pahang paper 2 videos, you go question 3, you will get the explanation for number 3C. Okay, but since it's like very similar with this question, that's why I show you lah. Okay, so hope you understand. Now it's time to do number 13. Okay, all right, let's read the question. Given point A, B, and C lies on a straight line. Okay, so it means they are collinear lah. So we have A, B, and C, right? Okay, but which one is the point in the middle? The point B divides the XAC. So B is actually the one in between, right? And then they say point B divides line segment AC in the ratio M ratio N. So this is ratio M, this is ratio N. And then the formula to find point B is this. Okay, this formula you actually learn it in Form 4 coordinate geometry chapter. Okay, and this formula is, you will use it when you want to find the divisor of line segment. Okay, so number 1 says what will happen when m equals to n. Okay, when m equals to n, it means the ratio here will be 1 1. Okay, 1 1. Of course you can say 2 2, 3 3, 4 4 also, right? But it's the same concept. If they have the same ratio, it means that b will be it means the distance here and the distance here will be same lah. So what does it mean? It means point B will be the midpoint lah, right? Because if they have the same ratio, means they have the same distance, right? So point B will be midpoint, right? So what I'll write here is, if the m equals to n, the distance of AB is same as distance of BC, all right? And then comma, point B will be midpoint of AC, right? Because if the distance here same means B will be the midpoint, right? Okay, question number 2, let's go. Okay, given A equals to this, B is this, C is this, and 4M equals 3N, express H in terms of K. Okay, I'll be using this formula, but we have to make sure we know the M and N ratio first. So 4M equals to 3N, it means M is 3, N is 4. Okay, always baca macam tu, right? Okay, if you don't know how to read like this, you can also convert to fraction. M over N equals 3 over 4. It means M ratio N equals to 3 ratio 4, right? So it means I can erase this. Erase this. Okay, let's draw again. So ABC, and then the M is 3. which is here lah, 3, and then this is 4, right? And now what we do is we want to express h in terms of k, right? So we use this formula. So point B, which is xy, but B I already know is hk, right? So write like this, equals to bracket. Okay, not enough space. How Okay, let's write up a bit lah. Okay, so let me erase this part. So for question number 2, I'll write here. So point B, which is hk, equals to like this, and then I garis, and then I garis, and bracket. Okay, the bawah one is m plus n, which is the ratio add together, so 3 plus 4, 3 plus 4, right? So atas you will take n times x1, which means okay, because point A you have already 4tt, and then point C also you have already 3h4k. So what you do is you will multiply the 4tt with the Jawo punya ratio, right? So that's why this one we call it x1 y1. So it means 4t times 4, t times 4. So this one you write 4t times 4, this one t times 4, right? Which is the same as saying n times x1, n times y1, like that, right? And then now you will take point C times with this, which is the m just now. Okay, this is m, this is n. So you are taking 3h times m, 4k times m. That's why it says here m times x2, m times y2. So you write here m times, okay, m times 3h, ataupun 3h times m lah is the same thing. Okay, and then 4k times m, ataupun m times 4k is the same thing. All right, and if there's nothing in between means you write plus. Okay, so now you end up with hk equals to 3 plus 4 is 7, 4t times 4 is just 16t, and then 3h times m is 3hm. Okay, so what about here? Here will be 3 plus 4, 7 also. T times 4 is 4t, and then 4k times m, which is 4km. Okay, so now you can actually compare. Wait, did I do it right correctly? Macam salah je. This one is 4k. So 4k times 3, right? So why I write m? Ayo, this one is 3 lah. Same thing here also. Why I write m? Sorry, mabuk. So this one it should be 3. Okay, so actually it shouldn't be 3hm. It should be 3 times 3h, which is 9h, right? Plus this one will be 3 times 4k, which is 12k. Like this, baru betul. Okay. Okay. I want to find h in terms of k. So what I'll do now is compare the x coordinate with the x coordinate, and then the y coordinate with the y coordinate. So it will be h equals to 16t plus 9h over 7. And then the other one is k equals 4t plus 12k over 7. But they want h in terms of k. This is k in terms, this one is equation yang k dengan t. This equation only have h and t. But I want my equation to have h and k. So I have to somehow combine these two equations. Okay, I need the equation yang ada h and k. This one is h and t, this one is k and t. So how? Okay, I can find t here, right? I can find t here and then substitute inside the t inside this t. So what I will do now, let's get rid of the fraction first. 7h equals to 16t minus 9h. This one, 7k equals to 4t plus 12k. And don't forget, I'm finding h in terms of k. So how? Okay, let's try to find h from here first. Minus 9 pinang plus 9. 7 plus 9 is 16h equals to 16t. Wait, did I do it correctly? 7 plus 9 is, yeah, 16t, right? Equals 16t. And I can divide both sides with 16, so h equals to t. Correct? But I want to find h in terms of k, bukan h in terms of t. So it means definitely this t I have to find it. So how to find it? Find it from the other equation lah. So to find t here is very easy. I will take 7k plus 12 bina jadi minus 12. 7k minus 12k is negative 5k, and then the times 4 become divide 4. And then this t I will ganti masuk here, which is negative 5 over 4k like that, right? So what is my h? My h will be negative 5 over 4k lah. Okay, let me just check quickly with the answer. Is that what they want? H in terms of k. So yeah, right. H in terms of k, which is, wait, why is it wrong? Okay, let me check where I did wrong. T equals to negative 5 over 4k, betul. This one is H. H. Okay, I think I know where I did wrong. This one is plus. So this should be plus also, right? So I made a careless mistake again. Sorry. everybody, sorry. So this is plus 9. So this one is a bit wrong already. So let me fix it. Okay, this one will be 7h minus 9h, alright, which is negative 2h. That is 16t. So your h is actually 16 divided negative 2, which is negative 8t. So it means your h will be negative 8 times with negative 5 over 4k, which is h equals to 10k. Yeah, this is the correct answer. Okay, okay, I made a mistake earlier, but yeah, this is the correct one. Okay, let's continue with B. Three vertices of triangle PQR. Given the area is 15, find the possible coordinates of point R. So if they say possible coordinates means there will be more than one answer, right? That's why they put coordinates. So macam mana? Area is 15, so 1 over 2 modulus equals to 15 lah. Because this is the formula for area. And how you use the formula for how you use this formula, you write down all the coordinates of the vertices inside here, right? So I will start, you can start from any point you want. Okay, so let's start from P, negative 4, negative 1. And then the next one you can write Q. Actually, you want to write R also can. All right, so 5, 3. Let's write Q lah. And then the next one, negative 1K. And then repeat the first one, negative 4, negative 1 equals to 15. Right? And if it's a triangle, you can write in any order you want. If it's a triangle, if it's quadrilateral, you have to be careful. Okay, so I write in this order, P, Q, R, and then I repeat the P. Okay, now our times, how I times, I will cross darab silang. Negative 4 times 3, negative 12 plus 5 times k, 5k plus negative 1 times negative 1, 1. And then minus. Why suddenly minus? Because I changed direction. Negative 1 times 5, negative 5. Minus 3 times negative 1, negative 3. Minus k times negative 4, negative 4k. Then close modulus equals 15. K dengan K boleh buat 5K plus 4K 9K, because minus minus become plus, right? So this one and this one sudah buat. Negative 12 plus 5 plus 3, you can use calculator. So negative 4, right? And the 2, you can move it to the other side, become times 2. So 15 times 2 is just 30. Okay, now how to solve for K? You have to pinna modulus. When you pinna modulus, there will be two answers, one positive, one negative. So you can find your K here and you can find your K here. So the answer will be 30 plus 4, which is 34, divide 9. So 34 over 9 lah. And then this one will be negative 30 plus 4, which is negative 26, and then divide 9. So negative 26 over 9. Okay, did I do everything correctly? No, because negative 12 plus 1, I forget to plus 1, and then baru plus 5 plus 3, right? So this one is negative 3. Yeah, sorry. I tertinggal the plus 1 here. So negative 4 plus 1 should be 3 here. So this one is not correct. Careless mistake. So this should be 3. So it will be 9k minus 3 equals 30. So k will be 33 divide 9. Right? 33 divide 9. But 33 divide 9 can simplify 11 over 3. Right? So now this one also is 9k minus 3. So how to find k? Negative 30 plus 3 is negative 27 divide 9. So k is negative 3. So what is the possible coordinates of point R? So your point R is negative 1k, right? So your point R can be negative 1, 11 over 3. Or it can also be negative 1k, negative 3, right? It means there is two answers here. Okay. All right. That's all. Let's continue. Okay, number 14. Let's read the question. Diagram 8 shows an area of open land behind Park Ali's house, which consists of a semicircle and a rectangle with a length of 2y meter and a width of b meter. So this is a land. The length is 2y meter and the width is b meter for the rectangle. And there's one semicircle up here, right? So if you look at here, if this is a rectangle, if this is b, this should be b also. And if this is 2y, this is 2y also. So can you see 2y is actually the diameter of the semicircle. So can I find the radius of semicircle? Yes, right? Just take the 2y divide 2, I'll get yy. And this will be the radius of semicircle. And then it says the perimeter is 120. So I'll write P equals to 120. It means I can form my first equation, which is B plus 2y, and then plus with the arc, right? And which formula I will use to find arc? All right, there's two formulas you can use here. You can either use this formula, 2 pi r times angle over 360, or you can either use the r theta formula. All right, so you can use this formula, you can also use this formula, you will get the same answer. But if you use this atas punya formula, the theta has to be in degrees. But if you use the bawah formula, then the theta is in radian. So which formula you want to use? Okay, let's use the atas punya formula. So the length of arc, which is 2 pi r, but in this case, the r will be y lah. Because the radius is y, and then the angle will be 180. Because if it's a semicircle, half a circle, it will be 180 over 360. Or you can also say 1 over 2 equals to 120. All right. This would be the first equation of perimeter. Okay. But then the soalan A wants you to show that the area is given by L equals to this. Right. So what I have to do here, I have to find B here. I have to find B. I have to make B the subject. All right. Why I have to find B here is because when they ask us to find the area of this, the area they want me to find is in terms of y only, right? So if I straight away find the area, what's going to happen is I will just take the area of rectangle, 2y times b, plus with the area of semicircle. Okay, area of semicircle, you can either use this formula, pi r squared times angle over 360, or you can also use this formula, which is 1 over 2 r squared theta. Right, both these formula also you will get the same answer at the end. But if you use the formula atas, the angle has to be in degree lah. If you use formula bawah, the angle has to be in radian. But I prefer the atas punya formula, so I'll just write pi r square. The radius is y, and then the angle is 180 over 360, which is 1 over 2. Right. But if students want to use this formula, can also just make sure the angle you put in radian. And what is 180 degree in radian? Pi. So you end up with 1 over 2 pi y square also, which is the same thing, right? Because the radius is y. So yeah, both formula will give you the same answer. Now, but what's the problem here? What's the problem here? I need to find B first. Can you see? Because the one they want me to find is L in terms of Y only. So this, I have to put in B, and I can't, right? Like that's why I have to find B first, right? So understand, B plus B is 2B. So I have to find B from here. So the 2 and 2 can cut. You're just left with 2y plus pi y equals to 120. And don't forget, I'm finding B. So I will pindah everything to the other side. 120 minus 2y minus pi y. So therefore your B is 120 divided to 60. 2y divided to is 2 minus pi y over 2. Now, after you get here, you can substitute this B inside here because this bracket is B, right? So when I substitute, it will be 60 minus y minus pi y over 2. And why I want to substitute this is because I want to find L in terms of y. So once you substitute, now you see your equation is L in terms of y. Okay, how to continue from here? Just expand. 2y times 60, I think it's 120y. 2y times negative y is negative 2y square. 2y times this is negative 2 and 2 cut, you left with pi y square, right? And then plus with 1 over 2, I can write in front. Pi y square, I just write like this, all right? Okay, pi y square and pi y square boleh what? Okay, boleh they can buat sama-sama, right? So I will write 120y minus 2y squared. This one you can use calculator. You just press negative 1 plus 1 over 2. So what you get? Okay, my calculator give me negative 1 over 2. But don't forget to write pi y squared at the back. Now you can continue. But if you look at the one they ask us to show, they actually don't want the y squared to be inside, right? It means they want to take it out. So let's do the same thing here. So 120y, and then they minus, right? So I also minus, and then I bracket, I try to factorize out the y square and write it belakang. So 2y square, when I take out the y square and the negative, are left with 2. Negative 1 over 2, I take out negative, become positive 1 over 2. Pi y square, I already take out y square, just pi, right? And 1 over 2 times pi is actually what? It's actually pi over 2, right? So can you see this one and this one is already the same? So we can write the word shown here, right? It means when we do the show punya soalan, we have to make sure our answer has to be exactly the same with this, right? That is why I cannot stop my working here, right? Because it's not exactly the same. I have to make it the same lah. Basically, I have to, how to say, factorize it so that it looks exactly like this, right? So this is how you get the 2 marks. Now we can continue with B. So B says find the value of radius, means y lah. Y is the radius, right? So find the value of y of the semicircle in terms of pi such that L is maximum. So the keyword here is maximum. Whenever you see the word maximum means you will differentiate and then equals 0. But differentiate siapa? Kalau dia kata A maximum, you differentiate A punya equation equals 0 lah. Kalau dia kata L maximum, then of course you will differentiate L punya equation equals 0. And it will be dl dy. Because the L equation is this one, right? All right, so it's not dl dx, it's L in terms of y, so it should be dl dy equals 0, right? But before you differentiate, you have to make sure kalau boleh expand, kena expand. So actually you should expand this, right? But you don't have to do that. You just refer to this baris. Okay, you just refer to this baris. Because after you expand, you will get back here, right? So what I will do now for B is I'll write down this equation. L equals to 120y minus 2y square minus 1 over 2 pi y square. This equation is actually the same as this equation. It's just that you have to expand this, then you will get here. And then what you do is you want to differentiate equals 0. So what is differentiate 120y? 120. Differentiate this one is 4y. Differentiate this one is pi y. And take this whole thing equals 0. All right. Why equals 0? Because maximum. Right. And after you equals 0, now you can find y, which is the answer lah, because they want to find y, right? So how can I find y? Let's see. Let's Okay, both the y here is negative. So is there any way I can make it positive? Yes, move it to the other side. 4y plus pi y like that, 120. And since I'm finding y, I will factorize. So when I factorize, I'll left with 4 plus pi here, 120. So my y is actually 120 over 4 plus pi. You don't have to press the pi because they want the answer in terms of pi, right? So this is the answer, right? This is the answer. It means your y, when the L is maximum, is 120 over 4 plus pi cm. Okay? Wait, cm or meter? Let's check. I think it's meter, yeah, because they already write up there, right? So this one is not correct. You should write meter. Okay, so this should be the answer. Remember, cannot tekan the pi, because they already say in terms of pi. Okay, all right. So hope you understand. Now we do C. Okay, C. What question is this? Let's do it here. Given the radius means y, of semicircle increases at the rate. Okay, the moment you see the word rate, that's when you will realize that this is a rate of change punya soalan. And whenever you see rate means over time. So if I say rate of radius, it means dr over dt. Okay, so rate must be over dt. But radius, they use y to the alphabet y, right? So we should write dy over dt equals to 1 over p, all right? And then they say area is explored by Ali, okay? Find the rate of change of area. Rate means over what? Over dt, right? But what I have to write atas? Area. But area, they never use A, they use L. So let's use dl, and then I'll write question mark here because they want us to find this, right? And they already say in terms of P, when the radius is 10 meter, it means y is 10 meter. Okay, so these are all the information. I just write it down. So when we do rate of change question, do you remember how you should do it? You should empty some space here, and what you have to write? You have to write line equals to line darab line. And what you have to write bawah here and bawah here? dt. And you have to remember sini dengan sini mesti sama, sini dengan sini mesti sama. Alright? And usually when we want to write this, we will refer the object. So if you look at this, dt and dt is already confirmed here. Now what's left is dl and dy. Alright? So what do you think? Do you think I have to write dl, dl, dy, dy ataupun dy, dy, dl, dl? Mestilah dl, dl, dy, dy. But I want to tell you, even though if you write dy, dy, dl, dl can also. But if you write dy, dy, dl, dl, this thing will be dy, dl. And how you want to find dy, dl? It means you have to find dl, dy, because your equation is L in terms of y. It means you have to find dl, dy, and you have to terbalikkan to get dy, dl. That's why I never do it like this, right? That's why it's better to just write dl, dy, right? So what is dl, dt? I don't know. This is my final answer, right? It's a question mark. Means this is what I want to find at the end. What is dl dy? So far, I don't have. And then dy dt is 1 over p. I'll just put it here. So to get the dl dt answer, what I have to find now? I have to find dl dy lah. But I cannot take... Okay, the dl dy, I can take this. Okay, I can take this. 120 minus 4y minus pi y. But the y have to ganti with what? The y have to ganti with the y yang dia sudah bagi dekat soalan, which is 10. Right? It means this y value they give you is to substitute after you differentiate, not before you differentiate. Before you differentiate, you ganti this y, it can only help you to find L, which is not helpful in this case. What I want to find is to differentiate first, then only ganti 10. Okay, so you will end up with 120 minus 4 times 10, which is 40. So you get 80 minus 10 pi. But the soalan already say in terms of p, right? But they never say in terms of pi. So do I want the pi? Okay lah, okay lah, the p, I think the pi, I will leave it like this, right? Okay, so what I'll do here is I'll put in the dl dy inside here, so it'll be 80 minus 10 pi, right? And when you calculate this, you will get 80 minus 10 pi over p, and that should be your final answer. Okay. If you tekan the pi can also, but I don't want to tekan because I know when I tekan the pi, I'll end up with like a answer yang decimal, yang banyak decimal. So I think it's lagi kemas if I write like this. So this would be the answer, but don't forget to write the unit. This is stands for dLdt, right? So dLdt, what is the L unit? M square, right? Because it's area. And then what is the time unit? Per hour. So H minus 1. Okay. So this is the answer. All right, 14 done. Now we are at our last question, number 15. Let's read the question. State the condition for A and A such that log n base A is undefined. All right, the log base and the log number has to always be positive, right? So what is the condition here? A must always be positive, and also always must be positive. All right, so that's all. Okay, that's the condition. Okay, okay. For question B, given that log n base m is p, log 2 base m is q, express this thing in terms of p and q. So I will do it here. This is what I want to express now. Log base mn, and then this is 1 over 2 square root n. So what I want to do is express in terms of p and q. It means I have to try my best to change this to log n base m ataupun log 2 base m ataupun log m base m, because log n base m is 1. Because that's the only way that my answer, to make my answer have p and q. You understand, right? Because p is this, q is this. So I have to try my best to change this to this ataupun this, so that later my answer have p and q. So what I will do first, okay, the first thing first is the base is not same already, because the given here is base m, right? But this one is base mn. So automatic, I know I have to change base. But before I change base, I will do something first. Because if you look at this is 1 divide 2 square root n. So if I am you, I will change this to separate log first. Because this is single log divide. Can change to separate log minus. So what I will do is I'll change to separate log minus, which is log mn1 minus, because it's divide, right? And then log mn2, and then minus log mn square root n. Okay. After that only I will try to change all this log to base m. Okay. Of course, if some student they want to change base first, baru jadi separate log, can also. Can also, you will end up with the same thing. All right. Okay. Log 1 base mn is 0. Remember, if you log 1, base doesn't, we don't care about the base. If it's log 1, any base will be 0. Okay, you can try your calculator. Log any number when it's, okay, sorry, log any base when it's log 1, doesn't matter the base, you will get 0, right? So this one you can cancel it already, and then you will just left with this and this. And of course you have to change base. And how you change base? What base I want now? Base m, right? So I will buka satu log atas for log base m, bawah pun log base m, and then the 2 I have to write atas, the mn I have to write bawah. Same here, I want to change to log base m, right? So log base m over log base m. The square root n I have to write atas, which is n power 1 over 2. But the 1 over 2, you should know you can bring in front. Okay, you can, how to say? You can letak depan, right? When you have power. And then bawah is just log mn. Okay, mn like that. Okay, so now the 0 don't have to write. You just write negative. Log 2 base m, isn't it given? Log 2 base m, q, right? So just write the q there. Then what about log mn base m? Okay, this one is single log times. Single log times becomes separate log plus. So it becomes log mm plus log mn. And then later the log can cut become 1. And then the log n base m, I can tengok sini and write p, right? So it means later you will end up with negative, you will end up with negative q over 1 plus p, because log n base m is p, and we still have to minus with what? 1 over 2 log n base m given already, which is p, so just write p. And then log mn, you already know what that equals to. You already know it's 1 plus p. You already do it just now, right? So you end up with something like this, right? Negative 1 over 2, and then 1 plus p. So how do we simplify this? Well, you can times 2 times 2, right? And the reason why I do like that is because I want to hilangkan these 2. Okay, so I have to times 2, but I have to make sure bawah pun kena darab benda yang sama lah. So what I get here is I will get 2 plus 2p, right? 2 plus 2p. And then this thing will be just 2p. Because when you take 1 over 2 times 2, you get 1. So sorry, so it's not 2p, it's just p only lah. Okay, okay, I think I can still simplify this. All right, how to simplify? I can make it into a single fraction. It means I can make this into 2 plus 2p for everyone, right? So if I want to make it into 2 plus 2p, it means this one I have to times 2. Because when you times 2, you will get the same denominator. So atas pun times 2, you will get negative 2q, right? And then minus p. So I think this is the answer, right? I think this is the answer, okay? I know the schema write a little bit different. I think the schema write dekat bawah 2 bracket 1 plus p, right? But it's the same thing. Okay, so yeah, it's the same. Okay, so this is how you do B. Okay, let's do my last question. Question C. The number of people n, so n represents number of people living in a town increased to 1226. So this is the n value lah. After 3 103 years and then starts to decrease. The population growth after t years can be modeled by this. This is the formula where a is a constant. Find the population of town after 2 years. All right, let's write down the formula first. N, which is the number of people, equals to 1000. T, okay, T there is a number of years. So T represents number of years. And then E, okay, E is actually a number. Okay, so this is not an unknown, right? And then power negative AT. A, they already said this is a constant, so A is actually a number. It's actually a fixed number, right? So we actually need the A later. And then T is just number of years lah. Okay, they want to find population of sun after 2 years. Means I have to substitute the T equals to 2. Okay, I have to substitute the t equals to 2 here and here, right? But I cannot find the n. You know why? Because even if you substitute the t is 2, the t is 2 here, you need the a value, right? E is already a number, so it's fine, but you need the a value. So that is why you cannot straight away find the population after 2 years. You need to focus on finding a value first. And how to find it? Use this information lah. That is why they give you some information here first. So they give you the population is 1226 when the time is 3 1/3. It means when your n is 1226, I can ganti my t with 3 1/3 years. But 3 1/3 is actually 10/3, right? If you take the 3 times 3, 9, 9 plus 1, 10. So this is 10/3. And then e power negative a times t, which is a times 10/3, 10/3a. And now I will try to find my a. Okay, I'll try to find my a. So how to find my a? First thing first is I will take the 1226, divide 1000, divide 10/3. That's what I will do now. So 1226, divide 1000, and then divide bracket 10/3. Okay, my calculator give me 0.3678, right? So 0.3678. So now what's on the other side is just e power negative 10/3a, right? Because this one, okay, because this one and this one, I already pindah to the other side becomes divide, right? So now what I have to do now is solve for a, right? So how to solve? Okay, what I will do now is I will add log both sides, right? So I will tambah satu log dekat this side, I will tambah lagi satu log on this side. But what about the log base? Okay, you can use any base you want, right? But I'm gonna use base e, right? Okay, some student they might use base 10, can also, can also. If you use base 10, can also, but using base e is better because your equation has e. So if you use base e, it will be easier because here you write 0.3678, here you write e power negative 10/3a, and the negative 10/3a memang boleh letak depan, right? So this negative 10/3a later you can bring it in front, and then what happens to the log ee? You already cut it, becomes 1, so you're just left with negative 10/3a on this side. And then what about this one? This one, you can tekan ln 0.3678 because log base e means you tekan the ln button, right? So do you know where is the ln button? It's beside the log, right? So let's press ln and then 0.3678. Okay, I already get negative 1. Actually, it's negative 1.000, so negative 1. Okay, now I can find my a, which is negative 1 times 3, negative 3, divide negative 10, 3/10. So it's 0.3, right? Now I already get my a. Finally, I can find the population after 2 years. So now I will use this formula again. N equals 1000. But I want to find after 2 years punya n, right? So the t I will ganti with 2. The e is already a number, so you don't have to worry about that. And then power negative at. So it will be power negative 2 year, a is 0.3 multiplied with 2, right? So you end up with 1000. Okay, 1000 times 2 is 2000, right? So you can write that 2000 and then e power negative 0.6, right? And now we press all this in the calculator. Okay, I'll teach you how to press. You press 2000 first and then tekan times and then shift ln. Yeah, shift ln. So when you press shift ln, the calculator will give you the e symbol, but you still have to press the power. So you will press negative 0.6 for the power. And then equal, they will give you the answer. 1097.62. Right? 1097.62. Okay, but since I'm finding population means the number of people. So number of people, what do you think? 1097.62 is like if we were to estimate the number of people, we can write 1097 1098, right? Because when you round off this, the number of people is 1098. Okay, so that's the approximate amount. Okay, the approximate, the lebih kurang punya amount is 1098. Yep, I think that's all. Sudah habis. Okay, bye bye. See you next video.